Okay, let's take this VW Golf Mark 1 Carmen Cabrio all white edition for a spin. Starts beautifully. Settles down nicely to idle properly. Off we go. We've just taken this one in part exchange. I've run it around most of the weekend. Been very, very nice indeed. Showing 126,000 miles. Seems to be a standard spec car, standard spec GTi Cabrio. Possibly it's been lowered very slightly, I'm not quite sure. Another one to compare it to. It's got slightly different alloys on it as well, I think. But aside from that, no changes or anything. It's a proper, the all white version. In other words, white bodywork, white hood, white interior. Anyway, starts on the button, no misfiring, overheating or hesitancy at all from the motor. Nice clutch on it, nice gearbox, stops in a straight line, no unpleasant groans, noises, creaks or bangs apart from what I can find. If you back off the throttle sharply, just did it just then, you get a very slight metallic ting noise. Which could be the offside engine mount, not quite as tight as it could be. The thing you do have is a very, very, and I mean very, very faint blow. I think where the manifold to the downpipe joint isn't quite as tight as it could be, but it is very, very faint. Through the speed camera. Still goes as well as they ever did. Yeah, so just managed to do it then. Just if you back off the throttle sharply, just get a very slight sort of dink noise from the front right corner, which is probably the engine mount. Certainly nothing wrong with the drive shafts as far as I'm aware, because we're putting it on full lock. There's no clanking from the drive shafts at all. Into fourth. Just tell you a bit about the car spec wise. Being the GTi Cabrio, obviously it's the same mechanically as a straightforward Mark 1 GTi, except internally we've got the lovely double lined hood. We've got the GTi sports seats, this time in the white. 5-speed box. This is a 1.8 version as well, so you've got a fair bit of poke. All the heater and everything all works nicely. It's got a really super JVC stereo, very, very powerful, that one. It's got a big amp in the boot, but yeah, cracking stereo on it. It's got trip computer, which all works nicely in all the modes, which is unusual on one of these now. So in front of us here we've got speedo, temperature gauge sitting just on the halfway point, trip computer, rev counter, fuel gauge. We've got remote mirrors, but really that's about it as far as spec goes on one of these. They're pretty basic, but fun for all that. Still got the original steering wheel, which is nicely set up. It's not pulling to one side or another. Unfortunately, because of that van there, we can't go particularly rapidly. But it just trucks along quite happily, no problems at all really. In fifth gear now, 50 miles an hour. Just gets on with it. Up to the turn. There we go. It's possible actually, rather than the engine mount, it could well be the exhaust is moving slightly and touching something. Not sure. It's not that it's anything too serious. That's about it. My name's Simon. You can reach me on 0771 906 9353 or in the office on 0118 946 3352 if you've got any issues or queries with regard to this Carmen Cabrio Mark 1. End.